The mother of the person you love spoke your name in prayer. Here's why. Beloved one, listen closely. This message did not find you by accident. It arrived because heaven marked this moment. Before you pressed play, before your eyes touched these words, your name was already spoken, out loud, on trembling lips, lifted toward God in a quiet prayer you never heard. I am Archangel Michael, and I come with truth that will stir your spirit. You have wondered why resistance softened. Why unseen walls began to move. Why the energy around this connection suddenly shifted, without explanation. It is because the mother of the one you love carried you into her prayer chamber. Not casually. Not lightly. But with emotion. With concern. With sincerity that reached heaven's court. Hear me, this was not gossip. This was not interference. This was intercession. She did not pray against you. She prayed about you. She whispered your name when no one was watching. She asked God questions she could not ask her child. She sensed something she could not ignore, something deeper than logic, something heavier than coincidence. And when a mother prays from discernment rather than fear, heaven listens. You may not realize this yet, but you became a subject of spiritual conversation. Your presence stirred something in her spirit, questions about timing, about intention, about destiny. She noticed the change in the one you love. The way their eyes softened when your name was mentioned. The way their defenses fell. The way their joy returned, or their restlessness grew. A mother knows when her child's heart is no longer alone. So she went to God. She said your name slowly. Carefully. She asked, Lord, who are they really? Why does my child feel this deeply? Is this connection safe, or is it sacred? And heaven did not ignore her prayer. Because what binds you to this person is not surface attraction. It is not convenience. It is not illusion. It is alignment. You are connected by assignment, and when destinies collide, even parents feel the tremor. Do not be afraid of this. This was not meant to block you, it was meant to clarify the path. God allows mothers to sense when a relationship carries weight. And this one does. She felt it in the silence. In the late hours. In the unspoken tension between holding on and letting go. That is why she prayed, not to control, but to understand. And here is what you must know. Your name did not rise to heaven empty. It stirred protection. It stirred guidance. It stirred divine investigation. This is why things are shifting now. Why conversations are changing. Why resistance is dissolving, or being revealed. You are standing at the edge of a moment where truth will surface. Stay open. Stay grounded. Stay prayerful. Because when a mother's prayer meets God's will, what unfolds next is never small. And what she was shown, what she is still processing, will soon affect the path between you and the one you love. Listen carefully. Because in the next moment, I will reveal what heaven showed her about you, and why this prayer was not the end, but the beginning. Do not leave. What comes next explains everything. Beloved, lean closer now. Because what I am about to reveal is not gentle, it is precise. When that mother spoke your name in prayer, heaven did not answer her with words. God answered her with clarity. She was shown something that unsettled her spirit at first, not because it was wrong, but because it was serious. She saw that you are not a passing chapter in her child's life. You are not a distraction. You are not a phase that fades with time. You are a turning point. And that realization carries weight when it enters a mother's heart. She asked God, "Why does this feel different?" And the answer did not come as approval or rejection, but as revelation. She was shown that your presence activates growth. That when you entered her child's life, something dormant began to awaken. Old wounds surfaced, not to destroy, but to be healed. Old fears rose, not to block, but to be confronted. That is why things became intense. That is why emotions deepened faster than expected. That is why there were moments of pull, and moments of resistance. Growth always disrupts comfort. And here is the truth that shook her the most. She realized her child could not remain the same if they chose you. This connection demands maturity. It requires accountability. It calls for courage. And a mother feels the cost of change before anyone else. She saw that her child's heart was no longer only hers to guard. It had already begun choosing. Already leaning. Already aligning. So she prayed again, this time not from curiosity, but from surrender. She said, "Lord, if this is you, then guide them. If this is destiny, then protect them. And if this is not meant to last, then do not let it harm them." And heaven responded with peace, not panic. She felt a calm that surprised her. A stillness that replaced her worry. A knowing that this connection was not reckless, even if it was unfamiliar. She was shown that you carry integrity in your spirit. That your intentions are not shallow. That your heart does not play games with what is sacred. But she was also shown something else, something she did not expect. She saw that this relationship will test both of you. Not because it is fragile, but because it is real. You will be challenged to communicate honestly. To release old patterns. To choose patience when fear speaks louder than love. And she realized that her child must grow into the kind of person who can keep what God is offering. That is why you may feel moments of delay. That is why progress has not been rushed. That is why things have unfolded with divine pacing instead of human urgency. This is not punishment. This is preparation. A mother's prayer can accelerate blessings, or slow them down until both hearts are ready. And right now, heaven is doing both at once. You are being protected from rushing into something before the foundation is strong enough to hold it. And the one you love is being refined, pressed into clarity, stripped of confusion, confronted with truth. That is why you may feel moments of silence. Why communication sometimes shifts. Why the connection feels deep even when circumstances feel uncertain. Do not mistake this for distance. This is alignment in progress. That mother is still praying. But her prayers have changed. She no longer asks, "Who are they?" She now asks, "When will they be ready?" She no longer asks God to remove you. She asks God to prepare both hearts so that no one is broken by what is meant to bless them. And this is critical for you to understand. You are not being discussed behind closed doors in fear. You are being lifted in prayer with discernment. That alone tells you this connection carries weight in heaven. So stay steady. Do not chase. Do not force. Do not doubt your worth. What is unfolding is larger than emotion, it is spiritual orchestration. And very soon, something will shift in the physical realm. A conversation, a decision, a realization, that traces directly back to that prayer spoken in secret. But there is one detail you do not yet know. One thing heaven revealed to her that she has not told anyone, not even her child. And when you hear what it is, you will understand why this bond feels impossible to forget. Stay with me. The next revelation changes everything. Beloved, what heaven revealed next did not come like thunder. It came like recognition. In the stillness after that prayer, when her voice had gone quiet and her hands rested in surrender, God allowed her to sense something she had not asked to see. She sensed familiarity. Not familiarity of memory, but of spirit. She felt that you were not random in her child's life. Not an interruption. Not an accident of timing. She felt that you had been near this destiny long before you appeared in it. This is what caused her breath to catch. Because mothers can feel when a soul is not new to the story, even if the meeting is. She could not explain it logically. But something inside her whispered, "This one knows your child's spirit." That realization is heavy. It is one thing to pray over a potential partner. It is another to realize that God may have been weaving this connection quietly, patiently, across years you never shared together. She sensed that your arrival did not bring chaos, it brought exposure. Exposure of unhealed wounds. Exposure of hidden fears. Exposure of avoided decisions. And exposure always feels threatening before it feels freeing. This is why her prayer shifted again. She asked God not only to protect her child, but to protect you. Because she saw that this connection would require vulnerability from both sides. And vulnerability is costly when the heart has learned survival. She was shown that you carry a depth that does not tolerate surface love. That you ask questions the soul cannot answer casually. That your presence invites truth, even when truth is uncomfortable. This is why the one you love feels drawn and afraid at the same time. You are not confusing them. You are revealing them. And that is not easy for someone who has learned to guard their heart with distance or delay. She saw moments ahead where her child would be tempted to retreat, not because love was absent, but because courage was required. She saw crossroads. Moments where choosing you would mean choosing growth. And choosing comfort would mean choosing stagnation. And she understood something profound. This relationship will not fail quietly. It will either rise with intention, or resist with intensity. There is no shallow ending here. That is why she prayed for wisdom instead of control. She asked God, "Teach me how to step back without withdrawing blessing." And heaven honored that request. She was given peace, not because everything was resolved, but because God is involved. Beloved, hear me clearly now. The delay you feel is not rejection. The uncertainty you sense is not denial. The pauses are not punishment. They are sacred recalibration. Heaven is aligning timing with readiness. You are being asked to remain grounded, not grasping. Present, not panicked. Faithful, not fearful. Because when the next shift happens, it will not come slowly. It will come as clarity. A conversation that feels unavoidable. A realization that cannot be ignored. A moment where pretending no longer works. And when that moment arrives, the one you love will remember something their mother said, softly, indirectly, without accusation. Some people come into our lives to wake us up. She was talking about you. Not as a burden. Not as a risk. But as a mirror. She has not pushed them away from you. She has watched. She has listened. She has prayed. And she has chosen not to interfere, because she trusts God more than fear. This is why your path remains open. But hear this warning wrapped in love. Do not let impatience speak louder than purpose. Do not let insecurity sabotage what prayer has protected. Do not shrink yourself to be easier to choose. You were not sent to be convenient. You were sent to be authentic. And heaven defends authenticity. What is coming next will require honesty from both sides. A shedding of masks. A willingness to say what has been avoided. And when that happens, everything will change, fast. But there is still one final layer to this revelation. Something that explains why your name lingers in her prayers even now. And why the outcome of this connection will echo beyond just the two of you. Stay with me. What I reveal next carries generational weight, and it will explain why this love feels bigger than emotion alone. Beloved of God. What I speak now reaches deeper than romance, deeper than timing, deeper even than the two hearts involved. Because the reason your name remains in that mother's prayers is not only about love. It is about legacy. When heaven allowed her to see beyond the surface, she was shown something generational, something that does not reveal itself to the impatient or the fearful. She was shown that this connection carries the potential to end a pattern. A cycle that has repeated quietly through her family line. A pattern of emotional distance. Of unspoken pain. Of choosing safety over sincerity. She recognized it instantly, not with her mind, but with her spirit. Because mothers carry generational memory in ways words cannot explain. She saw that if her child chooses you with intention, something old loses its power. Something inherited loses its grip. Something normalized finally meets its end. And that realization did not frighten her, it humbled her. She understood that God sometimes brings a person into a family not just to love one individual, but to heal the line. That is why she prays carefully now. Not possessively. Not anxiously. But reverently. She does not want to interfere with what God might be doing through you. She saw that your presence challenges emotional avoidance. That you invite conversations her child has never learned how to have. That you require presence, not performance. And she knew, deep down, that growth often arrives disguised as disruption. This is why she has not spoken against you. Why she has not warned her child away. Why she has remained quiet when others might have interfered. She sensed that you are not here to take, you are here to transform. But transformation demands surrender. And that is where the tension lives. Beloved, you must understand this clearly. There is a difference between being loved and being chosen. When choosing you changes everything. Her child stands at that threshold. And the reason this has felt slow is because heaven will not force a choice that alters identity. It must be voluntary. Conscious. Rooted in truth. That mother prayed that her child would not choose you out of fear of loss, but out of courage to grow. She asked God to remove illusion from both of you. To strip away fantasy and leave only what is real. That prayer is still working. This is why surface conversations no longer satisfy you. Why shallow connection feels impossible. Why pretending feels exhausting. You are being prepared to stand in truth, with or without outcome. And here is where the message turns personal. Do not confuse your calling in this connection with your responsibility. You are not here to rescue. You are not here to convince. You are not here to wait endlessly without clarity. You are here to be fully yourself, in light, in honesty, in strength. Heaven does not bless self-erasure. That mother sensed this too. She saw that if her child does not rise to meet this level of connection, the loss would not destroy you, but it would change her child. Because some people are not meant to stay. They are meant to awaken. And awakening always leaves a mark. This is why the outcome of this relationship will matter, regardless of direction. If it comes together, it will come with depth, maturity, and purpose. If it does not, it will still catalyze growth that cannot be undone. Either way, God is involved. And you are not mistaken for feeling that this connection carries weight beyond emotion. It does. But hear this final instruction now. Release the need to know when. Release the urge to control how. Anchor yourself in who you are, unashamed, unshrinking, unwavering. What is meant to align will not require you to beg, chase, or break. And when the next movement occurs, and it will feel less like romance. And more like recognition. A moment of truth where excuses fall away. Where clarity replaces confusion. Where choice replaces delay. That mother's prayer did not ask God to decide for her child. She asked God to make the truth impossible to ignore. That prayer is being answered. And what happens next will not be subtle. One conversation. One realization. One decision. And suddenly, everything you have felt will make sense. Stay with me. Because in the final revelation, I will tell you how to position your heart now, so that when the answer arrives, you are ready to receive it without fear. Do not turn away. The closing message seals this destiny. Beloved. Now I speak the closing word, not as an ending, but as a sealing. Because what happens next does not depend on chance. It depends on posture. The reason heaven has been so intentional, so deliberate, so precise with this connection is because how you stand now determines how you receive what comes. That mother's prayer reached a point where God did not show her more visions. He gave her instruction. Not instruction to act, but instruction to trust. She was told to step back and let truth rise on its own. To stop protecting outcomes and start trusting alignment. To release control and allow choice to mature. And beloved, heaven is asking the same of you. This is the moment where desperation must give way to dignity. Where anxiety must bow to assurance. Where silence must be met with steadiness, not fear. You do not need to prove your value. You do not need to compete with time, history, or hesitation. You do not need to diminish your needs to keep a connection alive. What is real will recognize you without coercion. This is why Archangel Michael stands with sword lowered, not raised. There is no battle to fight here. Only truth to stand in. The prayer spoken over you did not ask God to rush love. It asked God to reveal readiness. And readiness cannot be faked. Soon, very soon, you will notice a shift that feels different from all the others. Not emotional turbulence. Not longing. Not confusion. Clarity. A moment where the one you love can no longer hide behind uncertainty. A moment where they must decide whether to rise into depth, or retreat into comfort. And whatever they choose, you will feel peace, not panic. Because by then, you will know who you are. That is the positioning heaven wants for you. If they step forward, it will be with intention, not hesitation. With words that match actions. With courage that sustains commitment. And if they do not, you will not collapse. You will understand that some prayers are answered by union, and some by release. But hear this carefully, beloved. Either answer honors you. The mother who prayed your name has already made peace with this truth. She knows that forcing alignment creates damage, but allowing truth creates growth. That is why her heart is calm now. And that calm is a sign for you. Do not mistake intensity for destiny. Do not mistake longing for confirmation. Destiny comes with peace, even when the path is challenging. And peace is what will mark the next step. When the conversation comes, and it will. Listen more than you speak. Stand firm without hardening. Be honest without pleading. Say what is true, but do not oversell it. What belongs will stay without pressure. And here is the final revelation heaven asked me to deliver. Your name was spoken in prayer because you matter, not because you are on trial. You were lifted before God because your presence carries impact, not because you are a problem. And the fact that a mother felt led to pray about you tells heaven something important. This connection is not invisible. It is not trivial. It is not imaginary. It has weight. So now, release the rest. Lay down the need to predict. Lay down the fear of loss. Lay down the urgency to define. What is aligning will align. And when the answer arrives, whether as union or as clarity, you will walk away whole, not wounded. This message found you because heaven wanted you steady, not spiraling. Anchored, not anxious. Prepared, not chasing. If this word stirred your spirit, remain connected, stay near the messages that ground you, strengthen you, and remind you who you are. There is more guidance ahead for those who stay open. I am Archangel Michael. I stand watch over truth, timing, and the courage to choose rightly. And I tell you now, with certainty, what was prayed in secret is about to surface in truth. Stay ready. Stay grounded. And trust. Because the next move will not confuse you. It will confirm you.